Hello folks, Jason here with Mysterious Wilderness. Today, we have a quick automotive FYI video. You see, I'm a professional mechanic at my day job, and I thought it might be fun to include a little bit of automotive content here on the channel. So stick around as we explore the chicken tax and Japan's lost decade. Why your pickup truck costs more than it should. Have you ever wondered why pickup trucks are so expensive in the United States? Well, it has a lot to do with something called the chicken tax. But that's not the whole story. There's also a connection to Japan's lost decade that you might not expect. Stick around, because in today's video, we're studying how these two factors have shaped the cost of trucks in the US. Our story begins in the early 1960s. After World War II, European countries were trying to rebuild their economies, and some industries, like poultry, became extremely competitive. The US began exporting a ton of cheap chicken to Europe, and this ruffled some feathers, pun intended. In retaliation, the European Economic Community slapped tariffs on American chicken imports. This angered the US, and in response, the US imposed a 25% tariff on various goods from Europe, including light trucks, hence the name chicken tax. What's funny is that while the other tariffs eventually disappeared, the 25% tariff on light trucks stuck around and is still in place to this day. This tariff was originally aimed at European truck manufacturers, but its lasting impact has been felt mostly by companies like Toyota, Nissan, and Honda, foreign automakers that were gaining a foothold in the US market. So, what does the chicken tax mean for you today? Well, it's made importing trucks from outside of the US far more expensive. Companies like Toyota have had to navigate this tax by either building trucks within the US borders or by modifying vans into pickup trucks just to avoid the fee. The result? Well, higher prices for trucks and fewer foreign-made pickup models in the US market. In fact, this tax has effectively helped American auto manufacturers like Ford and GM to keep their strong grip on the pickup truck market here. Trucks are not just more expensive because of their size and features, but also because this decades-old tax. Now, you might be wondering, how does Japan's lost decade tie into this? Let's take a quick trip back to the 1980s. Back then, Japan's economy was booming. Exports were rising, and automakers like Toyota, Honda, and Nissan were growing quickly in markets around the world, and especially in the US. But in the early 1990s, Japan's economic bubble burst. The country fell into a recession that lasted for more than a decade, what we now call Japan's lost decade. The fallout from this period had a direct impact on Japan's auto manufacturers. During this time, Japanese automakers faced rising production costs and struggled with profitability. To cope, many companies shifted more of their production to countries like the US, where they could avoid tariffs like the chicken tax and benefit from a more stable market. With Japan's economy in a slump, its car companies needed to get creative to keep selling vehicles abroad, especially in the US. During the lost decade, many of these auto manufacturers increased their investment in US manufacturing plants. By building cars and trucks directly in the US, Japanese auto manufacturers could avoid the chicken tax and maintain competitive pricing. This is why you see Toyota Tacomas or Nissan Frontiers built right here in the US, rather than shipped from Japan. This is also why the Toyota Hilux is a completely different vehicle than the Toyota Tacoma, which is built specifically for the North American market. So the combination of the chicken tax and Japan's lost decade played a huge role in shaping the US truck market we see today. While American auto manufacturers benefited from protective tariffs, Japanese companies adapted by moving production into the US. This kept them in the game, but also increased the overall cost of the vehicles. While the chicken tax might seem like an ancient policy, it's still affecting prices today. And Japan's lost decade? That's a long-lasting economic impact that changed the way Japanese, and indeed all auto manufacturers, do business inside the United States, especially when it comes to pickup trucks. Now there you have it. That's the quick and dirty. And now that you know the history behind these economic policies, it's clear why your favorite trucks might cost a little more than expected. This has been Jason from Mysterious Wilderness. Thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts on the chicken tax or Japan's lost decade in the comments below. Till next time.